Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, everyone, to this English podcast. Today, we are reflecting on the discussion delivered by Dr. Maqsood Azeemi on Thursday, September 11th, 2025. From the depth of our hearts, we pray that Allah blesses Dr. Maqsood Azeemi with a long life, health, and protection. He is great treasure for us, carrying forward the mission of our revered Murshad, Hazrat Khwaja Shamsuddin Azeemi. May Allah's mercy be upon him. What makes Dr. Sahib's presence so special is that access to his wisdom is available to us instantly with just a click on our mobile phones. While many other respected brothers and sisters of our Azeemi family are also doing wonderful work, the kind of immediate connection we enjoy with Dr. Sahib is truly a divine gift from Allah. In today's deep dive, we will go step by step through his profound insights. We'll be exploring fundamental wisdom, offering deep analysis of familiar concepts, delving into powerful spiritual principles, and finally, a closing reflection to leave you with, hopefully, a new perspective.
That's right. And our mission today really is to cut through any complexity. We want to provide you with a clear shortcut, an understanding of these truly profound concepts. Dr. Maqsood Azeemi offers wisdom that is just so rich and multi-layered, and we aim to help you navigate it with clarity, uncover some surprising connections perhaps, and gain knowledge that's both swift and thorough. Think of this as your essential guide, really, to a deeper comprehension of yourself and the divine.
Okay, fantastic. Let's jump right into the core wisdom Dr. Azeemi shared, because he immediately sort of flips our understanding of knowledge on its head, his first powerful insight. True knowledge isn't just about accumulating facts. It's about achieving self-awareness. It's like a mirror reflecting your soul back to you.
Right. And this is where it gets really interesting, because Dr. Azeemi connects this directly to that profound Sufi saying, "Man afrana fa nafsahu faqad afara Rabbahu," which means whoever knows himself knows his Lord.
He emphasizes that understanding your own inner workings, your true essence, is fundamentally a path to understanding Allah. It's not just an external search. It's an internal journey of profound self-discovery.
So it's about becoming, not just knowing. That makes sense. Building on that, Dr. Azeemi then challenges us to realize that true inner peace, well, it isn't found externally. He states that purity of thought and clarity of mind are the direct conduits to that inner peace. It sounds almost deceptively simple, yet it's often so elusive, isn't it? It truly is. And this insight raises a critical question. How often does societal conditioning unknowingly cloud our ability to think clearly? Dr. Azeemi highlights that society often becomes our Qeda, our fundamental belief system, without us even realizing it. It unconsciously shapes our minds and kind of hinders our capacity for genuine self-analysis. This stands in stark contrast to the Quran's repeated calls for ghor fikr, or deep contemplation and reflection. The entire Quran, he notes, urges us to ponder, to think, to gain idrak, which is true comprehension. It's really about actively dismantling those mental walls to see clearly.
That makes perfect sense. It's like we need to clear the static to hear our own signal,
Yep.
And his final point on wisdom really brings it all together. Real wisdom isn't just information. It's the transformation of the soul. It's about changing who you are, not just what you know.
Exactly. Wisdom, in this profound sense, demands active application. It really does. It's not enough to simply collect facts or, intellectualize concepts. You have to allow that knowledge to penetrate your being, to transform you from the inside out. And think for a moment, how often do we gain knowledge without truly applying it to our lives? Dr. Azeemi implies that genuine understanding leads to an internal shift, an actual change in your actions and your entire outlook. This means consciously stepping out of our comfort zones, because understanding Allah's words, His works, His systems, His attributes, and ultimately, His essence, it requires consistent effort and a willingness to change our whole approach.
Right. Okay. Now let's really dive into some deeper analysis, because Dr. Azeemi offers some truly unique reinterpretations of terms many of us might think we already understand. He starts by dissecting al-Amr. Most of us, I think, commonly translate this as those in authority, or maybe government.
Yes, and this is where his insights become truly eye-opening. Dr. Azeemi challenges the common translation of the Arabic word solely as command. He points out that the plural of is umur, as in umur kanadari, which refers to household tasks or work. Makes sense, right? So, Amr bil Maruf isn't just a command for good, but actually the work that should be done. Therefore, al-Amr are not just those who issue commands or hold worldly power, but rather those who do good work under the guidance of Allah and His Messenger. The emphasis shifts dramatically from, blind obedience to cooperating with individuals who are actively engaged in righteous endeavors, working in alignment with divine guidance. It's about collaboration for the greater good, really.
Wow. That's a profound shift in how we perceive leadership and community, moving from hierarchy to active contribution. I like that. And what about another key term, ul-ab? What's the insight there?
Uluyubab. Okay, so this directly translates to those whose minds are open. These are individuals who think freely, who are receptive to new information, and who allow it to genuinely enter and process within their minds. They let it sink in. This stands in stark contrast to those whose minds are kind of closed off by societal conditioning, which renders them incapable of critical self-analysis or, welcoming fresh perspectives. It's a call to intellectual openness.
So it's about being receptive, being a deep thinker in the truest sense. Got it. This all seems to lead to a larger question about our ultimate purpose. Dr. Azeemi sheds light on Allah's profound statement. I was a hidden treasure. I desired to be understood, so I created creation. What does he mean by understanding Allah in this context?
Well, he clarifies that understanding Allah isn't a single instantaneous leap. It's not like flicking a switch. It's actually a profound 5-stage process. First, we begin by understanding his words, the revelations. That's stage 1. Then we move to understanding his works, the wonders of creation all around us. Following that, we seek to understand his systems, recognizing that all these works operate under specific, intricate systems. Once we grasp these systems, we begin to comprehend his attributes, as these systems function based on his divine qualities, right? And finally, this journey culminates, if one perseveres, in an understanding of his essence. So it's a progressive, immersive journey of discovery, not some sudden revelation.
That multi-layered comprehension makes the journey feel much more accessible, like climbing a mountain one step at a time rather than trying to jump to the top. And central to this entire journey, he mentions, is the concept of niyat, or intention. We often think of niyat as a singular, upfront declaration we make before an act, don't we?
We do, but Dr. Azeemi explains that niyat isn't just one static act. It's not a one-off thing. It's actually a continuous, dynamic series of choices made at every single step of doing a task. From the initial planning to deciding the method to the actual execution, each stage involves a conscious choice, an intention. This insight powerfully emphasizes human agency and the deep responsibility we bear in shaping our actions, because we are actively choosing and intending at every turn, continuously.
That deepens our sense of accountability, knowing our intention is constantly being renewed or perhaps needing renewal. Okay, let's transition now into the profound spiritual depth of Dr. Azeemi's insights, specifically addressing the powerful concept of Tawhid Sifati.
Tawhid Sifati, yes. The unity of attributes. It might initially sound complex, but Dr. Azeemi simplifies it beautifully. He really does. He teaches that our individual being is a reflection, a tajalli of Allah's essence. Our innate capabilities, our life, our sight, our hearing, our thought, which he refers to as fawad, and our comprehension, idrak. These are all direct reflections of Allah's attributes. Hey, the living Basir, the all-seeing, Sami, the all-hearing, and so on. You see the connection. So the core practice then is to cultivate a habitual conscious awareness that Allah is the ultimate source behind every single action. This means actively thinking, Allah is showing me, Allah is making me hear, Allah is making me speak, Allah is making me think, and Allah is making me understand. This constant conscious acknowledgement of the divine source in every moment, that is the very essence of Tawhid Sifati.
That's a truly profound way to live every moment, transforming every experience into an act of remembrance, really. He also speaks about human potential and what he calls the fall. This sounds like the inverse of Tawhid Sifati almost.
It is, in a way. Allah states, I created man in the best stature, Asani Taqweem, then reduced him to the lowest of the low, Asfali Safilin. Dr. Azeemi explains that this fall occurs when humans become dependent on created means and resources, when they shift their reliance away from Allah himself onto, worldly things. To revert to that best stature, to reclaim our true potential, one must consciously step out of their comfort zone, out of those habitual patterns of thought and action, and engage in deep contemplation, actively shifting their zawiya fikr, their entire angle of thinking.
And this brings us back to prayer, or salat. We often approach prayer as a time to simply list our desires or problems to Allah, just asking for things. But Dr. Azeemi offers a completely different perspective on this.
He really does. He challenges this common approach, suggesting a radical shift. Instead of dictating our desires, he proposes using prayer as a means to ask Allah about our purpose in his grand divine plan. It becomes a conversation where you humbly say, "Oh Allah, I am ignorant, I don't understand, tell me what I should do." This profound shift in mindset, moving from asking for what you want to asking for guidance on your role, benefits only the individual. It aligns them with the divine will and unveils their true path, It makes you think, what does true success mean to you? It might just be discovering this purpose.
That's a powerful reframing of a fundamental practice, a really powerful one. Dr. Azeemi also offers a truly unique perspective on death. We usually view it with fear as an ending, but he presents it differently.
Very differently. He describes death not as an ending, but as a pleasurable experience, a profound return home. Imagine that. This understanding reframes the hadith, remember death often, for it destroys pleasures, not as some morbid thought, but as a powerful reminder to focus on this ultimate comforting return. It helps divert our attention from fleeting worldly pleasures towards the eternal, understanding our ultimate destination.
Okay, a pleasurable experience, a return home. And what actually happens during this return? Kalender Baba Alia, through Dr. Azeemi, provides a fascinating insight into death as an acceleration of our senses.
Yes, and it's far more nuanced than just our 5 physical senses, the ones we usually think about. Kalender Baba Oya taught that Hawas Ekamsa, often translated as the 5 senses, actually refers to 5 degrees of sensory speed. There are our ordinary day senses, then our heightened night senses, which operate during sleep, then the exceptionally acute senses of Laylat al-Qadr. Then, the dramatically accelerated senses experienced at the moment of death. And finally, the incredibly vast senses of Judgment Day. 5 levels. Death in this view is when our senses accelerate to such an extreme degree that the soul basically discards the physical body as an insufficient vessel, like it's become a burden.
That's quite a concept, an extreme acceleration. And there's a historical account, isn't there, that vividly illustrates how these heightened states can impact the physical body.
There is, and it's a remarkable one. It really illustrates the power of elevated spiritual states. The account of Hazrat Ali is a perfect example. When an arrow was lodged deep within him, causing immense pain when attempts were made to remove it, he instructed those around him to wait until he entered prayer into Salat. While fully immersed in Salat, his senses were so profoundly heightened that his body was effectively suspended from pain, much like anesthesia. It didn't register. This allowed the arrow to be removed without him feeling any discomfort. It's a testament, really, to how the spiritual realm can transcend physical limitations. It prompts the question, have you ever felt a moment of deep silence where your heart spoke louder than words? That experience might be a small, relatable glimpse into what such a heightened state can feel like.
Shifting gears a bit now, Dr. Azeemi also shared some truly fascinating physiological insights. Things like nostril breathing patterns and the functions of our brain hemispheres. How do these intricate physical systems connect to his broader spiritual teachings?
Well, it's all part of Allah's intricate, interconnected system of creation. It all fits together. He explains that our nostrils naturally alternate dominance roughly every 90 minutes. The left nostril, called Chandra in some traditions, is associated with absorbing cool colors like blue, sky blue, purple. Conversely, the right nostril, or Surya, absorbs warm colors like yellow, orange, red. This natural alternation is absolutely vital for maintaining our physical body systems. It's a testament to Allah's detailed and perfect design woven into every aspect of existence, often operating completely beyond our conscious control.
That's fascinating. And what about the brain hemispheres? Modern science delves deep into their functions. How does Dr. Azeemi connect that to our inner landscape?
Yeah, modern scientific exploration aligns quite intriguingly with some of these spiritual insights. It's interesting, Dr. Azeemi notes that the left brain is often associated with more analytical, sometimes negative thoughts and feelings, logic, language. In a symbolic Quranic context, it can be seen as representing the Ashabul Shimal, or companions of left hand. It tends to operate at higher frequencies, known as beta waves. More active, maybe more agitated sometimes. The right brain, conversely, is described as more intuitive, connected to creativity and deeper insight. It's associated with alpha and theta waves when the mind is relaxed and calm, that more meditative state. So it's an intriguing connection between scientific observation and the spiritual understanding of our inner cognitive and emotional landscape.
But he also gave a very strong warning about how we interpret and use these physiological insights, didn't he? A really important caution.
Absolutely crucial, yes.
No.
He explicitly warns against using these insights for shugun, meaning omens or divination, trying to predict things. He labels such practices as a Hinduwana chakra or superstition, emphasizing that they are completely misguided. He stresses that true outcomes depend on quattayarada, which is willpower, thoughtful assessment, firm decision, and diligent execution. Not on relying on which nostril happens to be active or any other external sign. That's not the way. Relying on such omens, he asserts, is a weak and misdirected approach that takes away from genuine human effort and, importantly, reliance on Allah.
Right. So definitely no quick fixes or magical thinking involved here, understood. He also differentiated between various levels of power, which helps us understand where these practices actually fit in the grand scheme of things.
Yes, he clearly outlines 3 distinct levels of power. It's a helpful framework. First, we have physical abilities, things like running, swimming, climbing, obvious things we see in the material world. Second are psychic powers. These are mental and encompass phenomena like foresight, maybe telepathy, or influencing others through thought. He clarifies that practices like breath exercises primarily enhance these psychic powers. That's their domain. However, and this is key, he stresses that these are still below the highest level, true spiritual powers. Spiritual power, he explains, involves working without physical means, like the miracles of Hazrat Jesus, peace be upon him. When Allah says kun, the means are instantly generated. Similarly, when a human, through deep understanding of Allah's attributes and sincere reliance on him, acts with divine support, means are similarly generated in ways that transcend our ordinary understanding. It's a hierarchy of capability, ultimately leading to complete reliance on the divine source.
Please like this video and leave even a single word in the comments. Subscribe to this channel, Melody of Divine, if you haven't already. Share this video with those who have a taste for understanding spirituality. Many of you were perhaps between the ages of 20 and 30 when you first came to understand Babaji's message. Please make an effort to forward these videos to the younger generation so their minds may open towards the way of thinking of the friends of Allah. If you feel that you haven't achieved much in your life, let this be your achievement. Inspire the younger generation. And if young people have questions, please email us. We will request Dr. Sahib's replies and send them back to you. The email is given in the description. Thank you so much for your time and heartfelt prayers for all of you. Allah Hafiz.
And just one final thought to leave you with. Consider, in light of what we've discussed today, how might consciously shifting your zawiyah fikr, your angle of thinking about just one everyday action, transform your entire perception of the divine? Something to ponder.